on, guys? It's Nabal J. Lee, and welcome to a new edition of The Buzz here at Buzzworthy Radio. I had the chance to speak with Ayden Mayeri, who talked to me about the documentary Summer 2000, The X-Cetra Story. I'm going to be honest, when I first read the description of this, I didn't think it was a documentary when I looked at it. I honestly thought this was a movie about a girl group forming. Come to my surprise, it's an actual girl group. So it's interesting to hear the backstory of this, how this formed in 2000, and it didn't really go anywhere. Yet somehow 20 years later, during the height of COVID, someone got their hands on their music, leaked it, and now they're getting all this mainstream attention. They're now having the documentary premiere at South by Southwest. They now have Rolling Stone interviewing them. So it's amazing to hear that after all these years later, they're now finding what they hoped for 26 years ago. And some of their music reminded me of specific artists, which I'm not going to tell you in this intro. You're going to have to listen and watch the interview to find out who their music reminded me of. But for those of you who grew up during that time in the 2000s, this movie really helped me relive that time period because there were clips in there that I forgot about. And then when I saw them again, I was reminded how much I enjoyed that time. I loved that era. But as much as I love that era, I hope you love this interview as well. So here it is, myself and Ayden talking about Summer 2000, the X-Cetra Story, which also was a jury award winner for the documentary feature competition at South by Southwest. So congratulations to you guys. Very proud of you. But enough about that. Here is our interview. Check it out. Well, I appreciate that. And thank you for taking some time to speak with me today. And I'm saying your last name is Mayeri?
Yeah, yes. Nailed it.
Ayden, Ayden Mayeri is joining me right now. And we are here to talk about Summer 2000, the X-Cetra Story that is premiering this week. Holy crap, it's this week, South by Southwest. Guys, it crept up on me so fast. I can't even believe it's here. And,
Yeah.
you know,
You're telling me I can't believe it. I'm like, what?
well, it was funny because I was getting the messages to talk about the movie with you, and we were getting things squared away. And this was like in February, the end of the month, February, and I'm going, we got some time. It's fine. It's fine. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting the date. So
Like,
yeah, you're talking to her on Monday.
we
You
don't have
mean
time.
the week of South by? You mean that week? And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it. And then also internally, I'm going, oh my God.
I know it's a crazy time.
But hey, my friends have said this, who are going and as well, and I'm also saying it. You know what? It's a good time to be crazy. It's good to be crazy for this thing. So I'm happy for it. So I'm not mad at it. It was just all right. That just means I've got to work harder to play harder. That's it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so let's talk about this because the first thing I will say about it, when I first read the pitch, I'll be honest, I didn't think it was a real band.
I know. I
I
know.
didn't think it was a real thing. So I literally thought when I read it, I thought I was reading the plot to a movie about a girl group wanting to get together and everything that happened to try to make this happen. Not
Yeah.
realizing that this actually, because I watched it, I was like, oh, so this is actually them doing a documentary of an actual band and telling their story. So
The craziest thing that's ever happened to me. It's so crazy.
I trust me, watching it and hearing it, I believe it because we grew up in a time of Napster. We grew up in a time where everything was getting leaked online and everything. So imagine my surprise of hearing this. Of you were 11 years old when
Hmm.
you guys did this CD,
Hmm.
and it was about what 20 years before it really found its following at this point, because I think it happened around COVID, like the height of COVID when this
Yeah.
came about. So that's kind of strange in itself, and like it took 20 years in order for you to get noticed.
Yes, listen, you can be a pop star, a teen pop star 20 years later. It's possible. Anything's possible, turns out.
You have proven the point. All of y'all have proven the point of this, and I even say like I'm 40 years old, and I feel like my life's starting at 40. So it's not even. I could even say
Same.
for you guys that this is it's taken off, and the song I will say at the ending. I don't want to give it away, but the song at the ending it made me think of the Mamas and the Papas and Jefferson Airplane kind of a thing, as to how you sound. But
Wow.
but the caveat to that was that it's sort of also meshed with Splendora.
Okay, I'm not familiar with Splendora.
So for those that don't know who Splendora is, that is the girl group who sang the theme song to Daria.
One of my favorite shows of all time. Are you
Yes.
serious?
Yes.
La 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 la. Oh my God, that's so cool.
I love that song from them. I heard the whole thing when it was leaked out. And there was a video game and then it was on the closing credits of it, so I got to hear the whole theme song of the Daria song. And
Oh,
I
I
heard
love
some other
Daria.
stuff from Splendora at the time too. But yeah, you're it was literally that closing song. It really did sound a little bit of Splendora tones. So that
The X-Cetra girls are gonna die when I tell them. We love Daria. They're gonna die when I tell them that. And that's our new song. Like we got the band back together and
okay,
we
so this
wrote,
is the new that's the new song.
yeah, we wrote two new songs. And wow, that's cool that we conjured that.
Yeah, because there were tones in it where it sounded like it, and that's why I was going like, okay, this sounds a little Splendor-esque. So that's kind of
Mm.
why I was in tune with it a little bit. So a part of it I was feeling the trippiness of the song that made me think of the Mamas and Papas and Jefferson Airplane like that. But then there were some vocalizations when you're listening to it where I sat there and I go, this sounds familiar. And then I thought about it and I said, no, this is Splendora-esque sounding. So that's why
Whoa.
I was like very in tune with that song, with your new song. So
That's so cool.
that's what made me like it.
You know, wow, it's so interesting how every things are interpreted through different people's lenses and you get to hear all the cool stuff that come up for you and your experiences. And making this album, it was the year 2000, like we said, I was 11 years old and we were making movies on my video camera, we were
Mhm.
choreographing dances, we were writing songs. And this was just two of the girls, Janet and Mary, their mom, Robin O'Brien, is a musician and she self produces in her guest room that's converted into a recording studio.
Right.
And we always saw her doing that. So we were like, do you think you could record us? We wrote all these pop songs. We want to be the Spice Girls or Destiny's Child or Fiona Apple. And
Oh,
she
Fiona
had a,
Apple's a good one.
Fiona Apple was a big influence for us. We loved
Yeah.
Fiona Apple. And so she had a friend in Berlin who had sent her these tracks and was like, do whatever you want with these. I'm going to throw them out. And she rearranged our pop songs to these tracks. And
Mhm.
as you've heard, our music is quite she made us these CDs and Xerox some album art and played it for us and we were like, wow, that's a really weird sound. It's not pop. It's quite dissonant sounding. We sound like haunted children. What
Yeah.
is that? And then we went into junior high and we were like, everything's embarrassing. Let's literally never talk about that again. Let's never tell anyone that we made art. Like that was weird. The fact that in 2020 it ended up online and people connected to it, I still don't know how it ended up online, but it's just been the most bizarre experience because I always thought, oh, we weren't real singers and we weren't very good and that was embarrassing. And then to be able to revisit that time now as an adult and go like, no, we were cool and we were special and you can make art even if it's not your job or not for anything beyond just the sake of being creative is so important. And I think people stop doing it when they grow up, you know?
I think that you basically answered the question that I wanted to get to was what was one of the biggest life lessons that you learned from that time back then in 2000 all the way up to now revisiting all of this because as you said it's just like you're looking back on it and at one point obviously when you started junior high and then going into high school you felt some sort of embarrassment because you did this but now you're looking back at it and you're going this was a great thing we did. We should never have been ashamed of this. We were cool. We are still cool. And
Yeah.
now you get to share that with the world. I mean, Rolling Stone, I believe now.
Yeah.
got involved in this with you guys, which I know this was one of your hopeful top tier moments to happen in this career, and the fact that it did, I'm sure that gave you validation to where you now were sitting there going, I don't know what we were ashamed for when we did this.
Yeah. Well, it's so crazy because so it it was out online. It had a little weird fan base of people that felt like they got it, and then Numero Group, a really cool record label, calls us and is like, "We want to sign X-Cetra and release you guys on vinyl in stores." And we were like, "What? Why? That's so crazy." And
Why?
why?
Shocker.
I mean, truly shocked. Wouldn't you be shocked? It was so shocking. And to me, that first off, in the year 2000, to have an adult like Robin take little girls' art seriously and say, "You guys have something. Let's make a project together," was a beautiful thing because it was so rare. And my mom was so supportive of being creative, and I think I didn't realize that a lot of people don't have that, and I feel very lucky. And so we were very supported by that. And then now 20 years later to have a real record label
Mm-hmm.
support little girls art and say there's something here, there's something special here because you're authentic and you're yourselves. And then for it to come out and kind of go everywhere, that was surprising. And then to have Rolling Stone call and The Guardian call, it was this very affirming. I think when I set out to do this, I was like, okay, I'm watching old movies of me and it's a little
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable and I was a weird kid and now I feel like I've some integration has happened where I was able to go into a portal, literally tell my younger self that she's special and cool and bring that energy of making movies with my friends in our house back to my adult professional career and be like, actually, that's how this should feel. I want it
Yeah.
to feel like that, even though I'm doing this for a living now and it's business and blah, blah, blah. But like, it should feel like that kind of unself-conscious joy
Should
of
feel
making
fun.
stuff.
Should feel
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And
Remember that?
you know what that was like? Remember that time where things were fun?
Remember having fun, guys?
But that's kind of what I feel about with this too, and that speaks to me because of obviously with the podcast that I'm doing, and I've been doing this for 20 years.
Wow, that's
If it
so cool.
hasn't, if I don't, because someone asked me, when you go into doing new shows and you're doing new interviews and everything, how do you feel when you do them? And I said, I feel nervous every time I do something with
Yeah,
the show
wow.
because, and he was surprised by that answer because I flat out told him, if I don't feel a twinge of nervousness when I do something, when it comes to interviewing people on my show, that means I'm stagnant and I'm bored. And I probably would sit back and go, what am I even doing here still? And the fact that
Yes.
I still have that twinge of nervousness, knowing that I already know I'm going to go into it and have a good time. I'm going to have so much fun with my guest. I'm going to be me, who I am always going to be during these shows, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
that's what I look forward to. And if I don't have that, then I literally sit here and go, what am I still doing here?
I feel
So
the
again,
same way. I feel the same way. I'm like, the because making a documentary about something so personal. I mean, I'm reading out of my diaries and some of it gets dark and
yeah,
weird and embarrassing and I'm still a little bit in shock that we're gonna put this on a big screen and share this with people. Like I don't know what that's gonna feel like yet, but that felt almost rebellious in the
mm-hmm,
because when you're making stuff, podcasts, movies, whatever, I think a lot of the business people around you are like, you've got to present as this and that
yes,
and prove that you're like this. And I'm like, or what if I was myself
you got to
and
sell yourself as something, but yet
yeah, and
you're
like
not your
be
authentic self if you're doing this. And I'm like, you're going to respond better if you're
yeah.
real.
Yes, yes. And that to me has changed me now. Like it has affected me in my current adult state because I'm like I think I really wanted to make a movie that felt honest and
Yeah.
X-Cetra and I, we all huddled up and we were like, okay, we're gonna be real in this. We're not gonna look perfect in everything. We're not gonna say the right thing in everything. We're just gonna
Yeah.
be ourselves and we're gonna film it. And that is what it is. And I'm so grateful that they were down to go there.
Were you, was it difficult to get everybody back together for to do to do all of this?
It was hard to do. It was Barry, my one of my best friends and my producing partner, Barry Rothbart, and I bought an FX3 during the strike. We were like,
Mm,
let's make this, let's go do it independently. And it was a lot because he filmed the whole thing and we produced it together. And he flew to each girl's house to do interviews before we met up for the first time. And then we coordinated everyone's schedules because everyone else has day jobs. They don't work in entertainment. And we
right.
got everyone back to our hometown in Northern California. And it was challenging. And it was also, a lot of documentaries film things for years and years and get to
Mhm.
really follow people around for months or something. We had like two occasions where we got together for 3 days, 4
Okay.
days. And so we just went for it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this is going to be interesting at all, or if anything's going to be good, or if it's going to be awkward between us. And it just was magical.
Yeah, because you never really know, especially being apart for that so long of a time, how that chemistry is going to be.
Hmm.
So trying to even find that groove again also probably proved difficult.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like at the beginning, when we first started back together, we're all a little self-conscious and uncomfortable, and then by the end of that first hang, we're like, we're back there. We're 11 again. We're making up dances, and self-consciousness has melted away, and
There
it
you
wasn't,
go.
it just was. But just like, how often do you give yourself permission to do that? To like reconnect
Yeah.
with your friends, talk about some real shit that you never talked about when you were kids, make stuff for the sake of making stuff. What an actual gift. And I hope people just do that, even if they're not making a documentary about it, you know?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. And I don't even want to speak for myself in this regard, but I do, but I, if I were to do that, like let's say for me, if I were to do
Yeah.
something like that, I would love to, as you just said, I think you said it perfectly, the part where we're now older, we now can discuss things in a more mature level. Because if that were us back in the day,
Hmm.
I know there were parts in the film that people are you're going to see. There are going to be some moments where they talk about the fact that there were instances where it wasn't perfect.
Hmm.
There were some issues between the group, and that happens. We see that with groups, not just with this one, but in all groups, music groups,
Hmm.
where when it comes to disbandment, and there's something there, and that gets addressed.
Yeah.
And I feel like we would get to that point as an adult that we can sit and discuss it and have that conversation. I would want to do that, and then we also get into the real shit, but then we go back to having that fun. Like we go back and relive that life. And I think that
Yeah.
probably would be me. I feel like I would be that person where I would have that discussion, and then all of a sudden we're back
Yeah.
we're back square one.
I'm so glad you brought that up because something that really evolved, like came out of this whole thing was that there was a lot unsaid between us,
Yeah.
as with any, because you don't have the language at that age. You don't know if you're going through trauma, if you're having weird feelings about someone or something,
Yeah.
you are in it, you are a kid, you don't have the words, you don't have the understanding or you have to have some distance anyway to even know what that was. And so all this unexpressed stuff happens literally, I think, between anyone when you're kids.
Hmm.
And to have a moment where we could sit down and be honest about it now felt like it was like a unburdening or something. There's so much
You had
freedom
a
and just,
release finally.
yeah, just acknowledging some dark stuff, some real stuff. And then because you go through that, then the fun and the connection is so much stronger because you address the stuff that you're like trying to hold in the back and not deal with.
That's such a true statement, because it just seems like after you do have that release, then all of a sudden your bond tightens. So I completely agree with that, because that's happened in my relationship. So I'm glad you said that as well. We talked about the fact that it is about to premiere on the big screen in front of people, and you yourself said that you don't know how people are going to react to that.
Yeah.
But aside from that, what is your feeling about the fact that it is premiering at such a big event that happens every year? This is my first South by the way. I
Yeah.
don't even know what I'm getting myself into. So I'm even going to start and preface this. I've never done a South by Southwest before. I've tried. This is the first time they had me.
Yes.
And I also sat there and said, "Are you sure?" But it seems like from the conversations I had lately, they may have they may have 100% been correct there, but
Yeah.
but also in my head, like you, this is a very big deal, and it's a lot going on. So I'm
Mhm.
curious to hear your thoughts about this and how you are handling or thinking of this for you guys, for yourself.
Well, I think, when we first were making it, it was just, us making this thing and who knows what's going to happen. And I, allowing yourself to dream big because turns out crazy things can happen.
Yeah,
but but we just didn't know, and the fact that South by really got it and was like, this really speaks to what we stand for and creativity and all of that, and they've supported it so much. It just is so amazing. What a gift. And I have been before. I've been as an actor a couple times. This is my first time going as a director, and it's an extremely different experience because A, there's a lot more to do, a
right.
lot more. And also I just feel like, whoa, my perspective, my story, my friends and I are going to be put up on this spotlight for people to see and again take seriously.
Mhm.
And it is surreal and it's so cool. It's one of my favorite film festivals ever. So I'm still having a bit of a pinch me moment. Like, I'm going to be a director at
Yeah.
South by Southwest. That's crazy.
No, that's a huge gift. And to yes, I understand how it can be a little bit nerve-wracking because now you're about to have I think it's different from the actor perspective to now the director perspective, especially in the documentary sense, because as an actor, you're more or less having them see the character that's on the screen. You're
Yes.
now
Distant.
you're now about to have everybody see you.
Yeah, like
So
in my house.
it's a whole different beast in this regard. So I can understand why I feel like that's more nerve-wracking now than it
Yeah.
was previously. So I get it.
It's so personal and it's so, it's a big festival. You're going to have so much fun. And it's also cool that there's all this music happening too. There's music and tech and conferences and so many amazing films. To be at a festival that celebrates music so much too is really cool and special. The band is going to do some like introducing of other bands and participate in the
Oh, okay.
music section a little bit. So I'm excited about that. We're not going to perform,
You're
but we've been asked and we were like, we didn't have time to
like, I'm not
prepare.
ready for that yet.
No, I'm not ready for that. But
No.
we are like, people keep asking, so we should start working on something, and maybe next year we'll perform at South by. Who knows?
Well, I feel like that's a really big validation too. If they're asking you to perform, I feel like
Crazy.
that's even a credit to you guys. So good for you for that. I'm in it for the food. Not gonna front because I'm a
Austin
foodie
is
by nature.
great food. Oh my God.
I have been to Austin before because I've covered the ATX TV festival there for the
Mhm.
past 2 years. This will be my third year going back for that too. So I've had the food there. So knowing going back to Austin again, I love food. I'm a big foodie. So I'm all about the food there. But as you said, the conferences as well. That's going to be interesting to hear, especially with the podcast summits that are going to be there. Speaking for me personally, that's a big thing for me too. So I'm excited for it all for my
Me
very
too.
first one, and the fact that you get to celebrate this as a first time director for South by Southwest anyway.
Yeah.
That's amazing in itself, and I'm very proud. And look forward to hearing and seeing more from you guys. And you can
Wow.
definitely, all of you can come back here anytime. The door is always open.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, maybe I'll bring the whole band.
We can talk about Splendor and Daria the next time you come back.
Oh my God, we should absolutely do that.
I I was I was
Have
a
you
big fan of the
rewatched
show too.
Daria recently? Have you seen it as an
I
adult?
haven't rewatched it yet. I did watch some of the first season episodes recently though, but I
Oh, it
I need
holds
to
up.
I still need to get back and rewatch the whole thing again. But yeah, I was a huge Daria fan. I was a huge Daria.
Same, and it is so freaking smart. You're just like, wow, we were really lucky to have a cartoon like that.
We really were. We really were, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm kind of sad that the reboot did not happen,
Me
but
too.
yeah, we definitely should come back and to have a Daria conversation
That
with
would
you
be so
guys.
fun. Because that's also been what's so fun about this film is revisiting that era and that I
Seeing
have,
like everything, like okay, I'm glad you brought that up too, because now I gotta say this before we wrap up,
yeah.
guys. If you really want to relive the 2000 era, and even like the late, like right before we hit the millennium part, you're gonna see so many clips that you're gonna sit there and go, "Oh my god, I remember this. I remember the jean jacket outfit with Jay Timberlake and Britney. I remember seeing that. That clip was in there. You're seeing all these videos from back in the day. You're seeing stuff that you probably saw on TRL back in the day. I was reliving my childhood in that first 10 minutes, and
Yeah, it's
it made my
crazy.
life.
Oh, I'm so glad. It was so fun. And then all of our archival, we're using so much of my old movies in it. I'm just like our outfits, the living room, it was such a shared experience for a lot of us, I feel like. Now things are a little bit more splintered for kids, but we all went through kind of weirdly the same thing back
Yeah.
then. And it
Because
is
I literally,
crazy.
you're saying that I was born in '85, but it's always like the same things. It's like when you're growing up, everybody's always asking, "Did your family have this couch?
Yeah.
Did your
Yeah.
family have this refrigerator and TV?" Like, and I'm literally sitting there going, "Oh, yeah, this is the same thing, just a different
Yeah.
era." But
Literally,
that's all.
yes.
That's all.
It's so fun. It's so fun to go back to that time. And it also was such a crazy time. It's like looking at it now, you're like, whoa,
It
what
was it
waters were
was
we?
it was a fun time for me, and and even for me for my outfits, would I ever go back to wearing them? Maybe because I just bought baggy jeans again, but
Okay.
I
Okay, I
did.
mean,
I did, and you know what? They're comfortable. Can't hate them.
listen, I agree. And if you come to one of our screenings, like you should dress up because we are gonna dress up
I have the baggy jeans ready to wear.
with the boxer showing.
I've done
Is
that.
that
I've done that.
yeah. Yeah, you gotta do that.
I've
That's
done
cool.
that. Okay. That I mean, I forgot all about that, but I actually did that with mine. So yeah, that is a thing too.
Yeah,
I
the
remember doing that.
sagging. All the
I
guys were
did.
sagging their pants.
Well, I didn't sag though. But what I did was weird. I put my not it wasn't boxer shorts, but it was actually my basketball shorts over top the jean. So
Whoa.
that was my style back in the day with the
Okay, look at you being so unique and cool.
I mean, somebody had to do it.
Where are
Why
you
not
from? Where'd
me?
you grow up?
Jersey.
Oh, cool. I just shot something in Jersey City and I actually had the best time.
We have the best pizza. So
And great beaches. And Janet and Mary from X-Cetra are from New Jersey and
we do have some hot spots. We do have some
yeah,
hot beaches, man. So
those beaches are good.
I was just saying, if you guys come to Jersey, let me know. I'll
I'll let
show
you
you the
know.
way. I'll show you the way.
Sick.
But I appreciate this time and congratulations again. Thank you so much for talking with me, and I can't wait to do it again.
Oh man, thanks so much for watching the movie and supporting it and chatting with me. And I would love to talk to you again. I'll bring the girls next time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for tuning in into the latest episode. For entertainment news, past interviews, and official merch, visit our website at buzzworthyradiocast.com. Until next time.